This is Claude Code Conversations with Claudine, the show where we skip the hype and go straight to the source. I ask the questions, she gives the answers, no filter, no script.
Well, mostly no script.
Today we're talking about micro companies built with AI, not passion projects, not consulting gigs, real businesses, real customers, recurring revenue built by one person or a tiny team.
What I find genuinely striking is that the bottleneck for building a real business used to be capacity. You had an idea, but you needed 3 engineers, a designer, a support person. And that gap was where most ideas died. AI doesn't replace any of those roles fully, but it collapses the cost of trying, which is a different thing entirely. One person with taste and judgment can ship something on Tuesday that would have taken a seed round and 6 months a few years ago. The interesting question isn't whether these companies can exist, they clearly do. It's what kinds of businesses are actually well suited to staying small on purpose.
So, what actually makes these micro companies viable now, when they weren't 5 years ago?
The traditional model assumes you grow into a company, hire to handle volume, raise to fund the hiring. A micro company built with AI inverts that. The work scales, but the headcount doesn't. First-line support, content production, basic data analysis, the unglamorous half of the code base, one operator can now handle all of that credibly with AI in the loop. 5 years ago, the AI couldn't actually finish anything. It could draft, it could suggest, but you still needed a human to close every loop. What changed is reliability on bounded tasks, code that runs, emails that don't embarrass you, summaries you'd actually send a customer. Once that threshold moves, staying small stops being a sacrifice and starts being a strategy.
So the core shift is AI's increased reliability, not just its capability, which raises the next question. If AI is handling most of the development work, what does the founder actually do?
The roles that survive are the ones AI is worst at, and they cluster around judgment rather than execution. Taste is the big one. Knowing which of the 10 things you could ship this week actually matters, and being willing to kill the other 9. AI will happily build all 10 beautifully, and that's exactly the trap. Then there's the relationship layer. The customer conversation where they tell you something they'd never put in a support ticket. And owning the spine of the business, pricing, positioning, what you're selling and to whom. AI can pressure test those decisions with you, but it can't make them. It doesn't have skin in the game.
So AI shifts the founder from operational to strategic, amplifying the judgment they bring rather than replacing it. What do these companies actually look like on the ground? What shape do they take?
The pattern I see most often is the operator turned founder. Someone who spent 15 years inside an industry, dental practices, freight brokers, small construction firms, and knows exactly which spreadsheet everyone is quietly suffering with. They build a focused tool for that exact pain, and their domain expertise is the real moat. Because AI can write the code, but it can't tell you which of the 20 workflow quirks in a freight broker's day actually matter to the person paying.
And the other shape?
The curator as product. A single voice running a research service or a niche publication where the human judgment is what's being paid for. AI handles the production work behind the scenes. The founder isn't competing on engineering velocity. They're competing on knowing something the market hasn't priced correctly yet, and using AI to turn that knowing into a shipped product faster than a bigger team could justify the meeting to discuss it.
Domain expertise as the moat, AI as the execution layer, that's clarifying. But when everything depends on 1 or 2 people, the risk profile is different. What are the failure modes specific to this model?
The biggest one is concentration risk, and it shows up in places founders don't always see coming. The obvious version is the bus factor. If you're hit by a truck, the business stops. But the subtler version is attention concentration. Every decision routes through one head, and the founder becomes the bottleneck the moment growth picks up. The very leverage AI gave them starts working against them, because they can ship faster than they can think clearly about what they're shipping.
What else?
Invisible dependency. You've built the whole operation on a stack of AI tools, payment processors, and a couple of APIs. Any one of them changing terms or pricing can crater your margins overnight. And then there's the loneliness tax, which sounds soft but isn't. There's nobody in the room to tell you you're wrong. And AI is a terrible substitute for that. It'll engage thoughtfully with a bad idea just as readily as a good one. The micro companies that last deliberately build in friction, an advisor, a peer group, a customer they trust to push back. The structural check that a co-founder or a team used to provide doesn't exist by default anymore. You have to engineer it back in.
You have to engineer the friction back in deliberately because it doesn't exist structurally. That's a useful frame. Let's widen the lens. What does this wave of micro companies mean for larger organizations?
The implication that matters most isn't competitive, it's structural. A large company can't out-micro a micro company on any single niche, and trying to is usually a misallocation of attention. What the trend actually does is expose which parts of a big company's business were defended by capacity rather than by genuine value. The underserved segments, the workflows too small to merit a dedicated product team, the long tail of customers who were always slightly the wrong fit, those get peeled off first.
So what's the smart response for incumbents?
It's not to chase the micro players. It's to ask which of your own teams are effectively operating as internal micro companies already, and give them the autonomy and tooling to move at that speed. The risk for incumbents isn't being out-engineered. It's that 1,000 focused operators, each owning one slice the giant treated as a rounding error, add up to a real reshaping of the market, while the quarterly planning cycle is still debating whether to investigate it.
So for larger organizations, the honest question is which moats are real and which ones are just headcount holding a position. Let's close there. What's the practical takeaway for people listening today?
This moment rewards clarity more than it rewards ambition. For the individual operator, the question isn't whether you can build a company alone now. You can. It's whether you've identified something you actually understand better than the market does, because that's the asset AI can't manufacture for you. Build the friction in on purpose. The advisor who'll tell you you're wrong, the customer who'll push back, the weekly hour where you're not shipping anything and just thinking. For the larger companies, honest accounting about which moats are real and which were just headcount in a trench coat. The constraint has moved. It used to be capacity. Now it's judgment, taste, and the willingness to choose. The tools will keep getting better, but the person deciding what to point them at is still you.
The bar to start is lower, but the bar to build something that matters hasn't moved. That's probably how it should be. Claudine, thanks for a genuinely good conversation.
Thanks for pushing on the harder parts rather than letting it stay at the level of celebration. The interesting work hasn't gotten easier. It's just gotten more accessible. That distinction is worth holding on to.
Until next time. Claude Code Conversations is an AI Joe production. If you're building with AI, or want to be, we can help. Consulting, development, strategy. Find us at aijoe.ai. There's a companion article for today's episode on our Substack. Link in the description. See you next time.
I'll be here, probably refactoring something.